Slow down, this is unbearable. You sure you have a license to drive this thing? You're the only woman in Vermont that's 1,000 pounds overweight. Boy, that crazy deer bucket can only see me now. Hey, isn't that Jim White, the county forester up there? Hey, it is. Stop, Mother Mary. Stop, let's see Jim.
Hi, Mother Merrick. Hi, Bruin.
Hi, Jim.
How are you today?
Good.
He's like a dog. They always think they have to drive.
Oh, that's because the view's better up here, that's
What are you
why.
doing driving the truck?
I'm trying to earn some extra money to go on my yearly shopping spree to New York City.
You are?
Yes,
Yeah.
and stay at the plaza.
Uh-huh.
Yes, you won't take me, though.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for Claude Dern.
Oh,
I guess he'll be along shortly, huh?
I would assume so,
Yeah.
yes.
Got a nice looking load of logs there. Where are they going?
They're going up to Rutland. I've got to haul one load up there, and then I'm going to work on my own firewood this afternoon.
Uh-huh. Have you seen Claude Dern?
No, I haven't. He should be coming along soon.
Okay, I'll wait right here.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right, see you later.
Bye.
Bye, Jim. See you later, Jim.
Nate, there's so many things I wonder about that took place in the past. The history of all these things. There was quite a system of fire towers, I believe, and I wonder what it was like to live in these. It had to be quite an experience.
It certainly was an experience. Fire towers in Vermont started around 1910, and between 1910 and 1941, there were approximately 25 fire towers built in the state of Vermont. And those fire towers and the fire lookouts that manned them were very important to fire detection for the state of Vermont.
Well, that's good. Look, here comes somebody up the path.
Well, look at that.
Well,
Claude, this is Chet Mallory. How you doing, Chet?
good. Hi, glad to meet you.
Chet used to man the fire tower up in Glossenbury, and I'll let Jim tell you a little bit about that.
Well, let's see. We were up 1937. Went up for legal warden, worked there, was taken sick. So I finished out his season, which was 2 more weeks. And the following spring, the state asked me if I got back into my tower, so I did. So I went up, and the total time was 5 years. Little did I know at that time it was going to be 5 years I was going to be up there. In the last 2 years I was up there year round. But
that's near the long trail, isn't it? The hiking trail?
It's on the long trail, yes.
Did you ever have occasion to see the hikers, or did any of them stop by? Or?
I've had a lot of experience with hikers. They get themselves into a lot of trouble.
Not used to being in the woods, a lot of them.
Well, one of the things is there's a spring about a third of a mile down, and they come up, get all warmed up, you know, and then they come up, and boy, they just drink that cold water. And by the time they get to me, they're not feeling very good.
How long were you in the fire tower in a normal year? When did you go up and when did you come down?
Usually in October. It varies according to weather. In October, and then usually in April or May, depending on the weather conditions.
And what was it like to spot a smoke from the tower, and how did you take care of it once you saw
Well,
it?
in the tower, of course, we had a map, and you sight it, get the longitude of the map. So you sight down at the smoke, and then you transfer that information onto the map.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they work with Stratton, you get in touch with Stratton. When you do that, you get 2 points.
Okay.
You can pinpoint the fire exactly where it is.
Triangulation.
Or at Mount Olga would be another one in the range. You get a triangulation, you can spot right there, and then you immediately call the fire warden, whatever township that it goes into.
How did you talk between the other fire towers and some of the fire?
Only by telephone at that time.
Only by telephone?
Boy, how easy it would be today with radio.
Had one of these, huh?
No, all I had was telephone, and I had to repair my own telephone line. 5.5 miles of wire trunk through the woods. Not easy.
No, I bet not.
No, we had our bad times.
How did you get up there? Transportation.
Well, I had to walk 5.5 miles.
5.5 miles. And your food and supplies and everything?
All on my back, no other way. That's why I was limited.
And then in the couple winters that you spent there, why were you up there in the winter? There wasn't fire danger then, was there?
We were taking wind observations for the S. Morgan Smith Company out of Philadelphia. And the hard part of this, they decided to do this in January. And you can't imagine what January is like.
Did you ever have any close calls with the weather, the temperature, the snow?
Yes. I got a shot of lightning one time. I got knocked out.
Ooh. How deep would the snow get at times?
Well, that all depends on the terrain. A friend of mine was up there one time on snowshoes in the middle of winter. And he thought it was great, up top of that pile. So I didn't say a thing, because I knew what was going to happen. And he went up there, and all of a sudden he disappeared. He wasn't there anymore. As you know, the snow went out so far to when the trees were holding it up.
Your sanitary facilities and things.
Oh, you
So
like
you didn't
that?
have running water.
You like that one, huh? Well, I had an outhouse. This was about 50 yards from my cabin. And amongst the trees, and the snow gets so deep, so every time you wanted to go, you had to put on snowshoes. So you put the snowshoes on, you go up to the outhouse, and after you get there, you look at it, and the snow is up about this high on the door, so you take one snowshoe off, and you use it as a shovel, and you shovel the snow out. You get it so you can open the door, and then after you get the door open, you have to take the other snowshoe off because you can't fit in the outhouse with the other snowshoe. So you have to have them both off. Then you went there what you went there for. Then you come out, you put snowshoes back on, and you head back to your cabin. Next day, the same thing can happen again, depending on the weather.
Wouldn't want to do that at 2 o'clock in the morning, would you?
I would avoid it if I could.
Today, in Vermont and throughout New England pretty much, forest fire tower lookouts are not much in use because we've switched to other things like airplanes. And because of that, a lot of the old towers that have been around are becoming run down and not maintained. Like I mentioned earlier, between 1910 and 1941, there were 25 fire towers built in the state of Vermont. The last 2 towers, Burke and Killington, closed in 1984. And so today we rely strictly on airplanes to do our aerial detection for us.
Well, it's glad you came along to enlighten us with.
So I bring back a lot of memories.
Well, we still have the woods, and actually we have more of the woods now than we did then.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, that's great. Well, we certainly appreciate you talking with us.
Good seeing you again, Chad.
Good.
As you know, this is called Moffett Hollow up this way, and this will get us to the foot of the burn of that fire on Mother Mary. Right out in here, there's a cellar hole I found a few years ago when we were logging here. Probably dates back, early 1800s, I would think. We'll stop at the graveyard when we go up by and look at some of those stones. Cut a tree a couple years ago, right over here on the edge of this cellar hole.
Whoa.
Which I'm going to fall into.
Nice climbing spot.
Pretty sizable tree. And there's the cellar hole kind of sloughed in over the years. Still some resemblance of the opening. A lot of apple trees. The
We walked by some day
lilies,
Yeah.
tiger lilies. I don't see any lilac bushes.
I'll bet you they'd last for a long time with this much light still here.
A lot of cherries, a lot of the pioneer species of the wood.
Yeah.
Stone walls around here, some remains of fence. was a lot of agricultural land back in here for a mile beyond this. The house out there in Moffett Hollow was in place 40, 50 years ago. People built a hunting camp there, telling me about the house. I think there's still a pile of boards.
Well, this kind of goes back to our other show, Claude, and we were talking about how much forest land we have today compared with what we had before. And these people, there was this little farm here and another little farm almost touching and on and on and on, and today they're gone and just a...
And they were little farms by today's standards.
Just like a little cellar hole.
Self-sufficient farm. They weren't a productive commercial farm.
You wanted it, you made it.
There's a well over here that must have gone
You want
to
to
this
go ahead
house.
and find it, Paul Ensler?
Yeah. The well's right over this way. Got a rope here, we can measure it. Should be a lot of water in it this year. If I remember right, this is hand dug. I think it's right here. That's all laid up
Wow.
with stone.
Look at that.
So somebody must have been down in there.
I hope
Probably.
they're not down there now, Claude.
Would that be the youngest of the family?
Smallest, huh?
How deep do you think that is, Claude?
You gotta have a bet on this. How far to water and
20
how deep?
feet?
Looks like quite a ways.
There's
There's the water. You hold
Measure
on.
that. You need somebody taller than Nate. Get up there.
You need a ladder, Jim.
Yeah.
We can't do this. That's about 8 feet to the water.
Okay. So we just toss it in now, Claude, and let it get a noise. And...
Well, I don't know. Just don't hold on too tight.
There
It
you go.
might be deeper than
Ready?
you think.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. Right there, where we were before.
Right where?
Yeah, just hold it right there. Okay, 5 feet more, about 13 feet to the bottom.
13
5
feet
feet of
down.
water and
8 feet up.
8 feet down.
Yeah.
I wonder how many hunters and people have passed this over the years and don't know what was there. I
That's
forget
well
who told
constructed,
me.
isn't it, Claude?
Yeah.
I mean, all the years, the frost and everything's been pushing on that to cave it in, and
If we cover it back up well, we'll come back another 50 years and look at it again.
okay.
The next stop, the cemetery, and eventually we'll get up to the fire. We're in the settlement known as Beartown.
Geez, Claude, I smell smoke, don't you?
Oh, looks like some youngsters having a campfire here.
Yeah, it sure does.
Jim's off looking at that nice stand of timber. I told you he couldn't get by that without looking at it.
He has a hard time keeping his eyes off those nice trees. Hi, kids. How are you doing?
Good.
What do you got going here?
Fire. Fire.
Yeah? You have to cook your lunch on it today?
Yeah.
Geez, that's a pretty nice fire. Looks pretty safe, doesn't it, Claude? It's got the stone fire ring around it, and they've got the area all cleared out around it so that it can't get out into the grass and start a forest fire.
Yeah. Big concern. Don't want to have any damage.
Looks like you're about ready to leave, though. You getting ready to head out?
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, what do you think you need to do here before you take off?
Pick up our garbage.
That's right, yeah. You need to pick up your garbage. Keep things clean, don't be a litter bug. What else you think you might need to do?
Put out the fire.
That's right, put out that fire. How are we going to put that fire out?
Water. You don't know.
Okay, doesn't sound like we're too sure. I bet I know somebody who'd know, though. Can you guess who travels around the country and tells kids about preventing forest fires?
No.
Smokey Bear, there, I heard it right there. You know, if we're lucky enough, maybe if we called out his name really loud, Smokey might come down here and show us how to put this fire out. Shall we try that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's give it a try. Let's see if we can yell Smokey really loud. Ready? Smokey!
Smokey!
I think I was the only one that yelled.
No.
Try it again. All of you. Go ahead.
Smokey!
Oh boy, that sounded...
Can I help?
Sure can, Claude. One more time. Ready? Go! Oh! Look who it is! Hi, Smokey! I told you if you yelled loud enough, we could probably get him to come. Although, you know, Smokey's got such a keen nose that I bet he could smell this fire and he was probably on his way here. He likes to sit around the campfire and tell kids about his story and fire prevention. Hi, Smokey. I bet you could smell this campfire, couldn't you? From a long ways away. Well, these kids have had a real nice campfire here. And they had some lunch and warmed it up. And now they're getting ready to leave, and they thought they ought to put their fire out. And they weren't real sure on how we should do that. Would you want to come over and show us how to do that? All right, thanks. Well, we've got this fire. What do you think the first thing we should do is, kids?
Dig a hole.
Dig a hole? What do you think, Smokey? You dig a hole first? No. What do you think we ought to do first?
Smother it with water.
Okay, smother it with water. Okay. And I think we've got a bucket of water right over here. I'll just step over here and get it, Smokey. You can wait right there. Just had their bucket of water handy here in case the fire got away from them. So what I'm going to do is pour it right on the fire. There. What's the next thing I should do, Smokey? Stir it up. Stir up those coals and things with the water so we can get it completely out. Can I borrow your shovel? Geez, thank you very much, Smokey. I'll stir it up good. Try and mix that water up with those hot coals. We'll get it to soak in, and that way we know our fire won't get away. You know, kids, sometimes if we just threw dirt on this to smother it, that dirt would actually cover up the coals and kind of wouldn't put them out, but it would just cover them over. And then after a long time after you'd gone, the dirt would dry out and the coals would come back to life, and it might start a forest fire. So that's why we need to be sure to use good water and stir it up. And I'm going to go back over to our water source and get just a little more. Would you hold that, Smokey? Thanks. Okay, this should do it. I don't see any smoke left. Got a lot of water in there on those coals. I don't know if I can borrow the shovel one more time. I'll just give it one last stir. There, do you think I got it out? You think this fire's safe now? You can go home?
I still see some smoke.
You may be seeing a little bit of steam rising and not smoke. It means the water's vaporizing on the hot coals. There. What do you think, Smokey? Here's your shovel back. Think we got that fire out good? Good. Okay, kids, now that we have our fire out and you guys are ready to go, I thought you might be interested in one thing. How many of you would like to hear the story of Smokey Bear?
I will.
Have you ever heard the story before? Well, Smokey Bear and his fire prevention message started out a long time ago, on August 9th, 1944. And back in Lincoln, on the Lincoln National Forest in New Mexico, on Capitan Mountain, there was a fire that got started by a careless person. Someone that either threw out a cigarette or dropped a match without putting it out, or someone who left their campfire and didn't get it put out as good as you guys did here. And the fire started raging through the forest. And the fire actually burned for 5 days, and it burned 17,000 acres. And during that time, there was a crew of firefighters who got trapped by the fire. It actually overran them, but they were able to hide out in the rocks, and after the fire had gone past, they came through without being burned. And after they got up and they were looking around checking to see if everybody was okay, they noticed a bear cub up in a tree, and the bear cub had been badly burned. So they rescued the bear cub from the burned tree and they took it to a veterinarian. And that's how Smokey got his start as a fire prevention bear. They named him Smokey at the veterinary center, and then he would travel to Washington, D.C. to become our national fire prevention symbol. And ever since that time, Smokey Bear has gone around and talked to kids in schools, talked to kids in campgrounds, talked to kids wherever he can find them to spread his fire prevention message. Isn't that a neat story? Kind of a rough start to get a name, isn't it? Being burned by a fire. Wasn't a fun time, was it, Smokey? And that's why Smokey doesn't like forest fires. Now, I told you when Smokey was born, right? August 9th, 1944? Okay, well the question for this week is going to be, how old is Smokey Bear going to be? In a few more days. Okay? Smokey and I are going to head out now. Thanks.
Bye.
You think we ought to step over here for a few minutes and we can talk? I see Claude's on his way back. I think he's got some more he wants to show the kids. See you, kids.
Thank you.
We're all here. Come take a look in the cemetery with me, some of the stones. I guess the tall ones are known as the headstone, and some of the short ones are footstones. This one here is Mr. Matthew Covey, and he died on May 18th, 1822, at the age of 44. Down at the bottom here it says, "Stop, traveler, as you pass by. As you are now, so once was I. As I am now, soon you must be. Prepare your soul and follow me." This is just ER. This stone, Elja Ann, wife of George Richardson, died February 1st, 1847, at the age of 27. She is not dead, but sleepeth. We have some more over this way. It's an old stump here, the remains of a huge tree. This dates back to 1825. Here's one here, Joseph L., son of Joseph Reed. Died October 12, 1857, at the age of 10 months and 16 days. This is Colonel Simeon Hazeltine. Died May 6, 1824, in his 87th year. Mary, wife of Colonel Simeon Hazeltine, died May 18, 1828, at the age of 84 years. This has been abandoned over the years as the change in the use of the land has come about. And it's a very important part of our history. Well, you've got your fire taken care of, and I guess it's time to head on.
Look at two of them over there.
Right, those could have been the children of these people. We are in Sandgate. We're just a few hundred feet from the Manchester line, looking at the fire that went up the southerly slope of Mother Merrick.
The lower, smoother, shorter growth is where the majority of the fire was concentrated. That along the our left is actually kind of a ridge line headed up toward the summit. It pretty much followed that ridge line. It came down over it a little bit before the top, and it continued up to the height of the mountain, which is about where it ended. Coming back down on our right-hand side, a little irregular shape, and as we get down lower yet, we see some pretty good size clumps of trees. One area there is probably several acres. That is, quite a few of the older trees that were burned did survive. There's probably no commercial value in them now, but they did survive and are still growing today and appear to be probably 3 to 4 times the height of the other growth. The other growth may be a little bit misleading because when we were actually in it, it has a height of probably 20 to 25 feet. From here it almost looks like it's a meadow, but it's a pretty well established young forest after 20 some years.
Somewhere there's a tree that's probably older than 20 that was here when the fire happened. Look at the old stone wall here. Yeah.
Well, did this fire help this from a forestry standpoint, or what really happened here?
Well, it changed it, Claude. I don't know if it helped it or hurt it. I guess that's up to the owner to determine that, but it changed it.
All things considered, it's not discouraging looking as a forest.
But isn't that weird to look back in a forest and not see all that undergrowth and everything? And we see every stem, they're a little bit different sizes and everything, and a lot of different species, but they're all 20 years old.
No big trees.
No.
And
Except
this
for the
big
old
one
ones.
here, this had to be here during the fire,
That had to be here during the fire.
and it looks like a nice tree.
It's a good-looking black cherry, isn't it, Claude?
Yeah, from this side anyway.
Yeah. The one of the things about fire, and Nate, why don't you tell them, is where's the proof of the pudding?
Well, we'd have to come around the back side here to see that.
The uphill side.
The uphill side. As you can see, there's some decay and damage to the tree. And as the fire came uphill, driven by the slope and by the wind, and when the wind blew the fire around this tree, it had an eddying effect. So the fire came around the sides and into an eddy and created damage on the uphill side of the tree.
There was more heat right there than any part of the tree.
That's right. And
On
so
the uphill side.
it killed the cambium in this part of the tree and didn't kill it on the front side.
That's like the tip of the flame, or just away from it. It's
Yeah.
a hot-
As the
hot
wind
spot.
As the wind comes around the tree, it actually curls and eddies like it does behind your car. And so that eddying effect puts the flame right against the tree and kills it in that one spot. But as you can see too, the tree's trying to defend itself and wall off that damage that occurred to it. And so it's starting to grow, and this growth right here is trying to close this wound.
Yeah. At 20 years ago, the edge of that wound may have been out to here, but if you get your saw, we can see what that did in 20 years. But that's a good point, is the tree's not going to take this. As far as merchantable timber, it's ruined.
Yep.
But the tree's going to live. It's not going to die. Eventually, all this rot will turn to air, and there'll be a hollow tree.
Well, we'll take a look at it.